The World's Strongest Guy premiered in Japan on March 10, 1990, right after Saichoro awakens her hidden potential in the manga and between episodes 39 and 40 of the anime. The filler with Bulma in her undergarments, that's all you need to know. The new decade definitely offers updates involving the progress of the franchise. Apparently, the Z sign, completely absent in Toriyama's manga, turns out to be extremely marketable, as the anime adaptation is getting more and more popular among the Japanese audience. Therefore, Toei Animation can only encourage such an event by intensifying the Z sign upon releasing 2 films per year, one in March and one in July. Unlike the previous movie, which was pretty much of a lost Dragon Ball movie, this one is a full-fledged Z-era film for 2 reasons. Maeda's supervision looking far more conventional and the staff list filled with only regular animators. There is no guest star this time, solely people who work on the animated series. Similar to Mystical Adventure, only on a bigger scale, since a few individualities got their chance to shine during this 2-year period, like Naotoshi Shida, Katsuya Sada and Masahiro Shimanuki. Sure enough, the movie still can provide strong action, albeit not in the same fascinating way as the last movie, but more like by following their usual tradition, that is, relying on individual talent. The action is pleasing as long as the animator is skilled enough. Hand-to-hand combat is still a thing, we're still not in that time period, as Nishio's focus on choreographies remains his priority. The varying mini-battles are downright enjoyable. Muten Roshi vs Bio Warriors, Goku vs Bio Warriors, Goku vs Possessed Big Green, great stuff. However, no matter how strong the action may look, but a trend is taking over by degrees, key ways becoming more and more common, and the slow removal of elements that belong to original Dragon Ball. In fact, this is the last time Goku is shown riding his skin tone in a movie, and also the very final time he uses his Nyoibo, which didn't even take with him in the first place, since Gohan took it but never got the possibility to use it. Shame. Onto the film itself, I can definitely view why it might be considered a fan favorite. It's got Muten Roshi striking back, Piccolo being possessed, the Master Student Kamehameha, action being great and all. However, I simply view it as a missed opportunity. I like some of its ideas, I even find them captivating, but the fact there is no trace of the same uniqueness I could encounter in the previous movie, Maeda's corrections look too normal, combined with Koyama's narrative tropes, certainly cannot make it as satisfying as it should have been. The fact of the matter is, World's Strongest seems like a sheer downgrade compared to the last one in terms of everything. Even the positive isn't as positive as Dead Zone, yet the negative manages to cause more issues to the actual story. Thus, am I saying this movie's bad? Far from it. So let's start with the good to get the idea. Kikuchi's M900 is a solid soundtrack overall. The Dr. Willow motif sounds nice, even though it lacks the same ambition as M800, which confirms how powerful it globally was. Specifically, M900 tracks are featured in the main series from episode 47 onwards, so it may not be a surprise to match them with Frieza's character whenever you hear them. Take Dr. Willow's theme for example, which normally functions as Frieza's theme and has 2 versions. The slower one is used in lots of scenes around the horny tyrant, and the abridged one, this one released, is played during Guldo's flashback of Vegeta bullying him and when Mr. Satan and the announcer mock Cell. Enter the Biofighters may be one of the most competent Kikuchi tracks, as well as the best one of the bunch, played plenty of times, like when Vegeta realizes his underwater Dragon Ball was stolen, not taking it too well. Thinking of Piccolo is used when Bulma is in the bathtub. That's interesting. This one is globally considered Saichoro's theme, as it is played only when Saichoro is around, no exception to the rules this time, only Saichoro. While I'm normally not a massive fan of soothing melodies, this is how you really do it. It works as a proto-Genkidama theme, used after Gohan fails his Super Saiyan transformation. And another rendition of the classic Piccolo motif, one of the longest by Kikuchi up to now, played in multiple occasions, usually when Piccolo fights his opponents. Besides, there are some tracks which are used only within the movie, like this version of the classic Dragon Ball theme, used when Goku penetrates through Misokatsune. And the track of the Kaioken x4 against Dr. Willow, unused in the anime. Conversely, there are also a few tracks that are never played here, but get to appear in the regular episodes, such as Anticipation, used when Frieza's goons hide the Dragon Balls underground. Dr. Willow and Dr. Kojin play the bad guy role. The former is just a brain in a jar who aims at possessing the world's strongest guy's body, and the latter is the aggravating and snarky lackey, who gets to be more active than his superior because Willow is just a brain in a jar. I suppose they're both okay. I enjoy Bulma acknowledging his lifetime culture, but once again, Willow's main goal is revenge against humanity, because he was a brilliant scientist like Bardock. Yet, I'm still going to let this revenge motivation slide, since the very next movie has none of this. By the way, is it me or World's Strongest fell into the exact same trap as Dead Zone? Willow demands a body of a warrior, so he orders his Bioman to abduct Muten Roshi and Bulma. And considering his brain was kept frozen for quite some time, it makes sense for him to believe Kame Sennin is still the strongest guy. That said, they did also abduct and brainwash Piccolo previously, and probably even realized his strength. I mean, they saw him fire a mouth blast, so he must be that capable. Given that premise, kidnapping Mutaroshi results in being quite pointless. They already got Piccolo, they brainwashed him, and could actually be the warrior Willow's been looking for, as long as he's not into alien tissues. As for the Koyama bingo, this movie scores a total 6 out of 9, twice as much as Dead Zone, so it's becoming quite evident which route he's been following for a while. His formula definitely serves as the mandatory plot outline, which contributes to create a trend that will gradually pauperize movies by making them more predictable and unoriginal. In fact, World's Strongest is a mixed bag content-wise. The original stuff is great, even fantastic at times, like Goku's Kaioken breaking the ice, that is awesome. The battle between him and brainwashed Piccolo can be easily considered a highlight, given Miyahara and Sato's performances, the master-student Kamehameha brief yet intense, or Gohan and Piccolo rushing against Willow. All of these moments show the movie's strength all the way, and make me ponder what blocks me from liking it more than I should. Koyama's tropes are bad. That's it, I dislike his cliches. I may excuse the Piccolo saving Gohan cliché only this time because Piccolo was actually in close proximity to Gohan. The Genkidama finisher marks his first appearance here, so I guess I should pretend to be okay with it as well. The Kuririn humiliation though. Look, Dragon Ball fans tend to complain about Toriyama's negative standpoint towards Vegeta, but regardless of his real opinions, he had limits. He allowed Vegeta to have his moments. Apparently, having a child urinate on oneself wasn't satisfying enough, as now he can't even stop Koji's machine gun. I know what you're thinking, bullets do still hurt. Yes, they do. Then why can't Muten Roshi stop Kojin but Kuririn couldn't? Is that even a premonition of him humiliating Tenshinhan on Super? I mean, Kame Sennin is likely out of practice, so much weaker than his former pupil, but he can still knock off Kojin's machine gun arm, whereas Kuririn could only escape from bullets. If you believe I'm nitpicking too much, I felt the same way when I was 12. I found this scene as obnoxious as the precious bit in which he squeals with terror upon watching brainwashed Piccolo. I'm not saying he shouldn't feel fear. In the manga he's frightened by intimidating enemies like Nappa, Vegeta and Frieza, but at least wound up incredible situations in which his fears were palpable and especially subtle. Such an overreaction is symptom of terrible character writing, because that's not how his personality works. He did actually demonstrate his courage, albeit feeling subconsciously frightened in the exact same arc Koyama's been using as a bloody reference. I know recycling the battle between Goku and Vegeta is way easier than giving a point to a bloody character, but these tropes are just that distracting. In fact, no matter how likable the original content might be, it will always be overshadowed by visceral, persistent cyanarch self-references, which unfortunately feel much more problematic than the previous movie. There is too many of them to pretend they don't exist. The Biomen are essentially robotic Cybermen, same identical shape, and Piccolo even kills one of them with a mouth blast, just like in all the rest. Goku defeating Kishime like he defeated Nappa. The blatant ripoff of the legendary Bean struggle, look, it's the same scene! Only with Willow replacing Vegeta! Time 3, times 4, same framing, same tired pose, same battle damage. Why does Goku lose his goddamn shirt? Did it evaporate? Willow interrupting his Genki Dama just like Osaru Vegeta, and Willow saying Vegeta's line before he fires his garlic hole. Look, it's the same people we traced in episode 34. Using one or two callbacks is one thing, but a whole profusion? This is lame. This is how to wreck a story properly, which is so shameful because I enjoyed the beginning for its structure, with Oolong dragging Gohan his Dragon Ball quest, as he'd like to wish for a new pair of panties. The older pair was worn after so many years, I guess. Combining two characters that never shared an interaction in the series is a good idea, and so is Cochin summoning Shenlong to free Willow from its high sea prison. A solid setup for a story, which is immediately ruined by the montage of Gohan thinking of Piccolo thereafter, which is both random and confusing. As silly as the intoxicating montage of the previous film was, at least it occurred after the actual story had begun. Who's bloody eager to watch content we already know the existence of? Yes, Gohan does respect Piccolo, shall we move on? Besides, according to this movie, Nappa killing Piccolo is also part of his continuity, but the Dragon Ball still exists and Piccolo is of course alive, so it is really confusing. This raises so many doubts, and it shouldn't, because it's a bloody filler of a filler movie. It shouldn't be that complex. As for Chi-Chi, Koyama decided to maintain her toy characterization. You have no idea how wrong this sounds. Depicting her as an obnoxious pain for Goku and the others wasn't in Toriyama's plans. All he did was her driving to Kame House because she was rightfully upset that Goku and Gohan didn't come back and dissuading Gohan from going to Namek. Once again, another fair point, since he's only 5 and hadn't seen his parent for an entire year. Do these actions justify Toei's hyperbolic take? They don't. They are both fair reactions of a woman who became a widow and couldn't see her own son for a year. Therefore, I do wonder what Toei was actually thinking. Did they really think emphasizing her nagging attitude and most of all, playing her overreactions for laughs would have made Chi-Chi a better character? I didn't see my 5-year-old child for over 12 months, so I directly blame my no longer dead husband for impeding me so. Ha 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 ha! Hand-packed husbands are so amusing! Men are so immature and deserve any sort of pain. Well done, Toei. Well done. It takes quite some effort to turn a gullible tomboy into an annoying psychopath. These two isolated cases cannot serve as tangible clues. And the worst part about this is that she will behave even worse in the very next movie, because flanderizing characters is always sign of good writing. The ending is pretty stupid, with everyone laughing at Muten Roshi for being a pervert. The big green version sounds amazing though. Intense. Overall, while I can easily praise this film for including characters like Oolong and Kame signing back, for giving Gohan an important role, with Piccolo complimenting him, all of these efforts are lessened by poor and stock routine maneuvers and questionable characterizations. That's why the improvable tier is the most suitable, which means the movie may be good, but not better than it should. Next time, evil Goku lookalike invades Earth just because. can hardly wait.